So this one is for the girl that is just starting out, or the girl who hasn't started yet but is lying awake at night wondering if she should. I see you, and I made this for you. And I want to take you back to October 2022. I was 5 weeks into my journey and I had no idea what was ahead of me. No idea what 3.5 years would look like. No idea who I was becoming, but I was writing every single day because I needed somewhere to put all of it, the things that were happening to me. Because there was no accounts on social media for me to follow. I was doing it on my own. I was probably one of the first people in Ireland, to use this for weight loss. And today I want to read back some of those words that relate to, and then I want to tell you what I know now in comparison to back then. So every day I would write down what was going on for me. Every morning for 30 years, before I opened my eyes, I was thinking about food. And after that, every second thought I had during the day was about food as well. Every single one of those thoughts came with guilt and loathing. And Christ, like, when I look back and I read it now, I want to reach through time and sit with that woman from 3.5 years ago, because she was exhausted. She wasn't lazy. She wasn't weak. She wasn't lacking willpower either. She was just exhausted and carrying something that never switches off, not once, not for 30 odd years. And she thought that was just her life. That's just the way she was born. That's the way everybody else was. And she was the only one failing and lacking willpower to control it. And what I know now, obviously, and we all know, is that is called food noise. And we're all really familiar with that term now. I wrote about how did I carry on with such loathing. Like, I had a smile on my face 24/7 outside of my house for 3 decades, and no one would believe I had an inner dialogue that if you heard me speak it to somebody else, you would be absolutely disgusted with me. But my inner dialogue was like that, and I'm sure millions of other women have that as well. You know, things we say to ourselves that we would never say to any other human being, but we think it's okay to say to ourselves, you know, and we carried that for decades, you know, smiling on the outside, falling apart on the inside, and nobody knew because I didn't tell anybody. I mean, we don't go around talking about it, do we, as a rule, you know, and it makes you perform fine while you're actually drowning inside. And that's the only way I can describe what it was like. And then I wrote this like 5 weeks into my journey. My thoughts are so clear and focused on the future now that I know I'm going to have at least 2 stone gone by Christmas. Now, remember, this was the middle of October. I've never had those thoughts before. I've never had faith in myself before. But just 5 weeks in, something had already shifted inside me, and it wasn't the weight or the belief, but for the first time in 3 decades, I believed something was possible. That was the real change, what was happening before anything else, like the number on the scales. And the last thing I wrote, I think, in October as well, was that my inner dialogue is softer and quieter, and that was just 5 weeks in, softer and kinder. And here we are, me sitting here 3 years, 8 months into my journey. And I suppose the only thing that I can say to people starting out or people thinking about it is it just gets better. It gets way better, month after month, year after year. Better than I ever knew was possible for a woman who spent 3 decades believing the problem was her, me. I was the problem, you know. And that inner dialogue now, it's mine. And it's kind and it's soft, and I'm able to give myself grace for the first time in my life. So if you are one of those ladies that are 5 weeks in, that is 5 weeks in, or you're just started, or you're thinking about started, and you have thoughts like you're scared it won't last, or you can't quite believe what's happening, and you're waiting for things to go wrong, I need you to know and to do this. Stay with it. The future version of you is waiting, and she is just a much happier woman, you know, and you're going to be so proud of her. And that is the work that nobody talks about. The number on the scales, that's one thing. The inner dialogue getting softer, nobody talks about that either. The noise going quiet, a lot of people talk about that actually. The morning you wake up and you realise that you haven't thought about food once, that morning is coming, and it is possible, and it's possible for anybody out there thinking about it as well. And when you do start having all of those realizations, you're going to want a community. You're going to need a community of women around you who are on the same path as you. And when I started out, I had none of that. There was nothing. I couldn't tell you the mistakes I made. So after 2 years into my journey, I built the next chapter, and it was specifically for women starting out, women who need a community, women who want to be away from the noise of social media and everybody's judgment. So the link is in my bio. Come find us.